A very good evening. Welcome to Prime TV News on Friday, the 29th of November, with me, Iftia Abdul Qadir. Your headlines first. India announces a $400 million line of credit to Sri Lanka. Election Commission Chairman seeks approval to step down. Special program will be in place to supply rice without a shortage during the festive season. O-level examination begins on the 2nd. Suraksha has not been scrapped. And on news overseas, NATO celebrates 70 years since its creation. Those were your top stories, and now for the news in detail. Election Commission Chairman Mahinda Deshapriya has sought approval from President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to step down from his post. The Speaker's media unit announced that this has been brought to the notice of the Speaker, Karu Jayasuriya. Even the Speaker has responded to this request as Chairman of the Constitutional Council. However, the Speaker has proposed that Mahinda Deshapriya continue to serve full-time in his post. The Speaker noted the important role played by the National Elections Commission under the chairmanship of Mr. Deshapriya at the just concluded presidential election. He said that with another crucial election coming up, it would be best if that election is also conducted with Mr. Deshapriya at the National Elections Commission. Also, the Speaker has pointed out that it would be important that Mahinda Deshapriya remains in office to carry out the important reforms identified during the election process and to effectively lead the upcoming elections. The government has decided to implement a special program to supply rice without any shortage on behalf of the festive season. Accordingly, arrangements have been made to mill paddy stocks in warehouses of the Paddy Marketing Board and release to the market through the Satosa network. Paddy purchases during the last Maha season are now stocked in warehouses of the Paddy Marketing Board. Secretary of the Treasury and the Ministry of Finance, Economic and Policy Development, S.R. Artigala, announced that these stocks will be converted into rice through paddy mills of the private sector and supplied to Satosa outlets. Accordingly, the release of rice stocks after being milled in paddy mills is due to be released to Lanka Satosa in the coming week. Parliamentarian Ajit P. Pereira has said that a new leadership for the United National Party is essential. He expressed this view joining in a news conference held in Bandaragama. Ajit P. Pereira said that the UNP and the opposition need a new leader to continue the democratic journey. The parliamentary election is expected to be held by the end of April. Ajit P. Pereira reiterated that the reorganization process of the UNP should be started immediately. A new democratic leader has been elected. The opposition should now be bolstered. The UNP parliamentarian thanked Ranil Wickremesinghe for the services rendered by him to the nation and the party. This year's third school term ended today. Meanwhile, the GCE Ordinary Level Examination will commence on the 2nd of December and continue till the 12th. The Education Ministry announced that the third school term of government and government-approved private schools ended today. The first school term of the new year is slated to begin on January 2nd. It is planned to end the first school term of next year on April 6th. In the meantime, the GCE Ordinary Level Examination for this year will commence on the 2nd of December and conclude on the 12th. It will be conducted at 4,987 centres countrywide. 717,008 candidates will be sitting the examination. Of them, there are 433,050 school candidates and 283,958 private candidates. Arrangements have been made to operate several special examination centers. They will be located at Ratmalana, Thangalla, Matara and Chilau areas, the Colombo Magazine Prison, the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama, the Vataraka Sunita Vidyalaya and the Sri Lankan Embassy in Kathmandu, Nepal. The Department of Examinations issuing a statement said that the examination will commence at 8:30 a.m. every day. All candidates should submit their national identity card, a valid passport or a valid driving license, along with the admission card to consolidate their identity. Any candidate who has not streamlined identity can face the examination by producing a special letter issued by the Examinations Commissioner General. The statement issued by the Examinations Department says that candidates are barred from carrying along with them a mobile phone or any other electronic appliance into the examination center. Any candidate who breach this regulation will be barred from sitting any examination for 5 years, and also their results will be revoked. Special observation teams will be deployed to look into any breach of the law during the conduct of the examination. Examinations additional supervision teams will be undertaking the supervision of the examination, covering every area. Any fraud committed during the examination can be informed on the hotline 1911 or on contact numbers 0112 784208 or 0112 784537. In the meantime, the conduct of tuition classes, lectures, conferences and workshops, as well as the distribution of related posters, banners or leaflets, or giving publicity in the electronic or print media during the examination period is totally banned. Complaints in this respect can be informed over the emergency hotline. On to a headline-making story. The Education Minister disregards rumours that the Suraksha Student Insurance Scheme is being revoked by the government. The Suraksha Student Insurance Scheme covers over 4 million students. Education Minister Dallas Alahaperuma dispelled all myths that the government has halted the process. The minister pointed out that he will always recognize this insurance scheme as an important project launched for the benefit of the students. Following the explanations made by the Education Minister, the Cabinet, along with the President, decided to continue with the Suraksha Student Insurance Scheme. Corruption and the misdemeanors of the past will be eliminated. The Education Minister highlighted that this responsibility was undertaken with honour by the ministry and pledged to nurture the scheme. The Supreme Court has issued an interim injunction on Royal Park murder convict Jude Shramanta Anthony Jaimaha, who was granted a presidential pardon recently, preventing him from travelling overseas. Jude Shramanta was sentenced to death over the killing of a young woman at the Royal Park apartment complex in 2005 and recently granted a presidential pardon by Maithripala Sirisena. The Supreme Court banned him foreign travel after considering a fundamental rights petition filed by the organization, the Women and Media Collective, until the 11th of next month. The court also permitted the petitioners to name former President Maithripala Sirisena personally as respondent, since he is no longer serving as the executive president. 2 cases filed against 3 persons, including Minister Johnston Fernando, were summoned in the Colombo Magistrates Court today. In the case, they have been accused of committing a loss to the government, deploying 153 Satosa employees in political activities while serving as a minister from 2010 to 2014. The court fixed to take up the case on January 20th. Still on local news, parliamentarian Mave Senadiraja has pointed out that the Tamil National Alliance will be holding talks with the President and the Prime Minister to fulfill the expectations of the Tamil community. He made this reference joining in a function held in Jaffna. Parliamentarian Mave Senadiraja pointed out that the issue is not regarding the decision of the TNA, but about who accepts their policies. The MP noted that the elected party is ensuring that the issues of the Tamils will be addressed. He said that they are prepared to extend their fullest support to the government if the Tamil community and the nation will be developed. Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy said that the Sri Lankan government is ready to issue the samurai bonds to the market after a proper review. The governor expressed this view attending a media briefing in the auditorium of the Central Bank.
Governor, what's the progress on the samurai bond?
So on the samurai bond, as any new government would want to do, the new government wants to just take a moment to review the financing program. And so December we were working towards it, which is what I told you last time. It will get delayed a little bit to give the government a chance to review its financing program. So hopefully there will be a window in January.
Governor, how concerned are you about, the new legislation that was planned, particularly the new Monetary Law Act?
The bill is now in Parliament. Clearly, it's unlikely it will be taken up before the parliamentary elections because in this intervening period, it would be surprising if such a major piece of legislation is taken up. But I'm still very hopeful that it will go through. As I'm on record saying that I have firm conviction that this is something that is good for the central bank and this is good for the country.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stated that a $400 million line of credit will be extended to Sri Lanka to strengthen its economy. Under the Indian Housing Project, 46,000 houses have already been constructed in Sri Lanka, while another 14,000 houses are further being built for Tamil origin people. A $100 million credit line was given for solar projects in Sri Lanka. This was revealed during talks held between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. A meeting between the Sri Lankan President and Indian Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jayashankar was held in New Delhi this morning. The Indian Foreign Minister expressed his gratitude to the President for selecting India for his first official visit at the Indian Prime Minister's invitation. He pointed out that the long-term friendly ties between the two countries will further strengthen with this tour. Jayashankar said that it is the desire of the Indian Prime Minister to carry forward the relations of the two countries to a new era with a new approach with mutual benefits targeting economic development. Views were also expressed with respect to business and investment cooperation between the countries. Expressing his gratitude to the invitation extended by the Indian Prime Minister for a tour of India, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa opined that his intention was to develop bilateral friendship with India.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and I discussed several important issues this morning. The discussions were extremely cordial and reassuring. Among these, cooperation in regard to security of our two countries. India has always assisted Sri Lanka to enhance our capabilities in intelligence and counterterrorism, and we look forward to continue support in this regard. I want to thank his offering $50 million credit line to enhance the capabilities of the intelligence agencies. We also discussed how Sri Lanka and India could work together in economically important matters. I discussed with the Prime Minister how Sri Lanka could benefit out of certain economic sectors. I thank Prime Minister for his positive responses to many of the initiatives I proposed to enhance Sri Lanka's economy. We discussed in length the fishermen's issue and will take steps to release the boats belonging to India in our custody. And also I want to thank particularly in offering $400 million as a credit off line to improve our infrastructure and the economy. Since my election as the President of Sri Lanka, the first official invitation was from His Excellency Prime Minister and the Government of India. I'm certainly very happy to be here because India is our closest neighbor as well as our long-standing friend. I would avail of this opportunity to invite Prime Minister Modi to visit us as the first head of government to visit Sri Lanka since my election as the President of Sri Lanka.
In the meantime, an official meeting of the President and his Indian counterpart, Ram Nath Kovind, was held this morning. The Indian President accorded a warm welcome to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in a traditional manner at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The Indian President mentioned that he could describe the occasion as a significant occasion of improving friendly ties between the two countries. Expressing his appreciation on the program mooted by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa with a new vision, the Indian President pledged the full support of the Indian government in this respect. After this meeting, the President visited Rajghat and paid homage to the Mahatma Gandhi statue. Business News is up next. The central bank said Sri Lanka is holding policy rates at current levels amid a widening the budget deficit so far this year and recent tax cuts announced to stimulate economic activities. Recent tax revisions would support lower inflation and higher economic growth in the short term, but was of the view that greater clarity with regard to the medium-term fiscal path of the government is required to assess the impact on the economy over the medium term. Sri Lanka's cabinet of ministers had announced a cut in value-added tax from 15 to 8%, and while a non-recoverable 2% tax on domestic goods and services will be dropped from December 1st. Other cuts have also been announced for personal income tax, a debit tax on financial transactions, a debt service levy on banks, removal of taxes from information technology for which a date has not been set. Well, that's the lot from the Prime TV News desk. For more information, visit www.itanews.lk. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.